The rain fell mercilessly, creating puddles that reflected the last rays of twilight. The forest was a tangle of shadows and mystery. In the middle of the muddy trail, a skinny, wet-haired dog stood still. Its eyes, fixed on a small figure, shone with determination. It was a baby, dressed in dirty clothes and with confused eyes. The baby crawled on the wet ground as if searching for something or someone. The dog, silent like a guardian, followed the child's every move, keeping a safe distance but never letting the baby out of sight. Suddenly, a thunderclap tore through the sky, and the baby stopped, looking up in fright. The dog took a step forward, emitting a small whine as if trying to comfort him. In that instant, the connection between the two became clear. The dog was there for a greater purpose. But what did it know? And how had that baby ended up in the middle of a deserted forest? Days earlier, a small town at the foot of the mountain had been in turmoil. A 1-year-old child had mysteriously disappeared during the night. The mother, in despair, ran through the streets, shouting her child's name, while search teams scoured every corner. No one could explain how a baby could have left the house alone. The doors were locked, the windows shut. It was as if he had simply vanished into thin air. Meanwhile, in the same town, a stray dog named Max was known for wandering aimlessly. Without an owner and surviving on scraps, Max was ignored by most people. But there was something special about him. He had an extraordinary instinct. That night, as chaos gripped the town, Max sensed something unusual in the air. He began following a scent. Something different. Something that led him beyond the town's limits and straight into the forest. There, he found the baby, dirty, scared, and alone. The child looked lost, but there was something deeper in his eyes, as if he were being guided by something invisible. Without hesitation, Max decided to follow him, staying close even without understanding what was happening. Days passed, and the search in the town began to wane. Many feared the worst, but in the forest, Max continued his mission. He followed the baby wherever he went, preventing him from getting hurt, scaring off small predators, and even keeping him warm at night by lying beside him. However, the baby's path seemed increasingly strange. He wasn't wandering aimlessly. He was following a specific route, as if he knew exactly where he wanted to go. It was impossible for such a small child to act this way, but Max stayed by his side, driven by something greater than his own understanding. By the third day, Max began to feel that they were being watched. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed among the trees, and shadows moved swiftly through the leaves. He barked, baring his teeth, while the baby continued crawling, oblivious to the danger. Suddenly, a man emerged from the shadows. Dressed in tattered clothes and with a sinister expression, he approached with a dark look in his eyes. Max positioned himself in front of the baby, growling fiercely. The man knelt slowly, as if trying to deceive the dog. He extended his hand toward the baby, but Max leaped, biting his arm with all his strength. The man's scream echoed through the forest, as he struggled to free himself from the dog. But Max didn't give up. Meanwhile, the baby, as if finally sensing the danger, began crying loudly. It was at that moment that something unexpected happened. The sound of other barks echoed in the distance, and within minutes, a pack of dogs appeared, surrounding the man. Terrified, he dropped a backpack he was carrying and fled into the forest, disappearing into the darkness. Inside the backpack, Max found something incredibly familiar, a blanket with the mother's scent. The backpack contained enough clues to piece together what had happened. The man was a kidnapper, and the baby had been taken during the night. But for some reason, he had been abandoned in the forest, probably because the man believed no one would find him there. Max, with the help of the pack, led the baby to the nearest road, where a search party found him. When the mother's eyes met the baby's, a cry of relief and joy broke the silence. She fell to her knees, holding the baby with tears streaming down her face. Max watched from a distance, but before he could walk away, the mother called him. She extended her hand, and the dog, hesitant, approached. As she stroked him, she promised that he would never be alone again. The story of Max and the baby became a legend in the small town. The dog that everyone ignored became the hero who saved an innocent life. But more than that, he proved that love and courage don't need words or explanations. Max followed his instinct, and that instinct changed everything. And so, the dog no one wanted found a family, and a desperate mother recovered her greatest treasure. In the end, the unexplainable connection between Max and the baby reminds us that even in the darkest moments, kindness can emerge from the most unexpected places. Sometimes, true heroes walk on four legs and speak with their eyes.